Taylor Swift again is going viral, but it's not so much Taylor Swift, it's her security guard. This is not only taking the internet by storm because her security guard was caught on tape lip syncing along with her at her show, which, by itself, that's maybe nice. But I guess Calvin Decker, and I feel kind of bad saying this guy's name because I feel like there's probably just an entourage of hate that's probably coming at him right now in some shape or form. But at the show, he essentially kind of went up to fans and in the front row before the start of the concert, and he gave them his number. Okay. And he goes, hey, like basically in my job and the reason I'm here today, I can't like take pictures. It's prohibited.
Right.
But if you guys happen to get any pictures with me in it, because I'm going to be near, like very close to Taylor Swift today,
Center stage.
please send them to me. So I'm sure he felt this was very innocent, but he kind of did it because he was trying to get around some work rules. So anyway, this has backfired on him very much. What happened?
Yeah, I mean, he got the whole inspiration from him even getting his security job, at the event center was just so he wouldn't have to pay Taylor Swift fees. So, like, I recently saw a video of a security guard like singing along at a Pantera show. And he was, they're not allowed to look back and stuff, but this guy knew like every single word. And that they love to be there. I mean, it's a great way to get into concerts for free. It's a great way to get kind of up close and personal. Sometimes you'll be near the artist in those situations, but in that job you have to remain professional.
All right, so do you guys want to see the video where he was at least singing along? And this is the one that went viral initially. There's Taylor up there. He's getting the oohs and the ahs. Look at him go. And he's so into it too. And he's closing his eyes and he's singing along. And obviously there's some things almost endearing about it as well, because like he's genuinely seems to be a fan. All right, so that's why I feel like I don't want, hopefully the backlash that's happening to him, because I guess people are really like going and hating on him. People are going to do what they're going to do. But anyway, so he goes after one night, that's when he realized how close he actually was to Taylor Swift. And so he really wanted to get a photo to document it. So, quote, I handed down these little pieces of paper that said I wasn't allowed to have my phone out, but Taylor Swift comes right behind me. Please take a photo of me, text it to my number. I handed it out to a couple of people. They were really kind. They were sweet about it. And so he explained that he did not pass a note to the woman who then shared that video that went viral, because I guess he did get into trouble over that,
But that doesn't even make sense. How would he remember the people that he handed out notes to? So here's the thing.
Well, I mean, if you're staring at someone for how long is your show? 3 hours? I mean, you probably would remember their faces. But good point. I don't know.
I mean, I actually understand kind of why he got fired. A, he's not doing his job. B, he's not there to promote his social media. C, I mean, I actually think it's kind of creepy that he's at a Taylor Swift show just handing out his phone numbers to random people in the front row. I don't know how old these people were. I don't know if they're like, I imagine Taylor Swift shows are a lot of like 16-year-old girls, and the security guard is just handing out his number saying, hey, if you get any pictures of me at this Taylor Swift thing that we're connecting on, because I'm a huge fan of Taylor Swift, make sure you send me a number. And then now I have an into your phone and your stuff. I don't know. I go down a weird path with this.
Yeah, that's an interesting I don't share that perspective, but I see what you're saying.
I understand why the company would fire something like that, and why people would have a problem with that.
Best Crowd manager ended up firing him, and they said it was due to a prohibiting staffer, because they prohibited staffers from taking photos with performers. So they were like, they didn't appreciate that he kind of like went around them, went behind their backs or whatever. And I think maybe to your point, as far as them, for me, I think the move was because they go, our top tier, the biggest or the second biggest, as some people would argue, performer in the world, our client, and you're gonna play games, like, you're done just for that. Like, we're not gonna play games, and we're not gonna make anyone feel uncomfortable. Yeah, and it's like if you're sitting there closing your eyes, and not really paying attention because you're so into the music, how well can you be doing your job? And,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
it's a serious job. You're responsible for people's safety. Even in security, there's a line of discretion. So if you're a security guard, if you have a security guard and he's sitting there taking videos of you, I mean, is he providing security or is he getting for his social media page? I mean, this was
yeah,
an
well, and he was
orchestrated thing.
facilitating the making of pictures, but he
Yeah.
wasn't doing it himself. So the quote goes, "Beyond that, the HR woman who called me, so obviously the security guard who called me wasn't able to articulate exactly what I did wrong because I didn't do anything beyond asking for photos, which is what happens at any other concert, with the only exception being that I made sure I got any that I was intended in," Decker said.
He tried to find loopholes. What he did was incredibly unprofessional, and they should like if we were even if we were working with somebody, and just even in the camp that we talk about this is kind of different, but it's kind of the same thing. um you know and we're around, let's say, like more like famous musicians or famous people, and then they hand that musician something, or they try to secure themselves an opportunity or something like that, kind of going behind and just kind of doing what they want because they're fanning out and they're having their opportunity. Like that's not what you're there to do. You're hired to do a job. You're there to whatever. And for you to do that, like, that's got to break all kinds of policies.
Yeah, well, and I'll even share, a personal example. I had one of my shows, and if I do performances in my music career, I always have someone with me as far as a bodyguard, and it's just standard protocol. But anyway, I had this one show where there was one person that was kind of on a list, okay, and this was kind of like a concern, and we had talked about it with my security guard ahead of time and all the things because it was in a very like close, intimate kind of venue.
Right.
Anyway, this person, in fact, was at the show, and my security guard didn't recognize him. Not that he was in like any kind of, weird uniform or hat or whatever. And it's just, he was distracted. He was just distracted. So it
Hmm.
was completely pointless. So anyway, not to say that Decker, was completely distracted, but as far as should he have been fired? Was it too aggressive of this
Yes.
company? And even let's talk about it. Let's go on his side for a second. They're being unreasonable. He was doing what anyone else would have done. He didn't technically break the rules. He didn't take a picture. He just asked someone to text him a picture in
No,
case.
he handed out his number and his name and asked people that were there that paid for a show that
I
he
think
was
I think you
working to
missed the
take photos.
instructions. The instructions
Oh,
the instructions were we're on his side now for a second.
yeah, I
So if
can't.
we're if we're on his side, then I go, it depends on where you're at. So for example, some states are at will for employment. So you can hire or fire anyone at any time and they can't say anything.
Mhm.
And other states aren't. So, if I was him, I would obviously look at any agreement that I had signed with this company. Did the company comply with their own policies? I mean, but either way, he got his moment of fame
But
at
he,
least.
you know
And he in fact got a video with him and Taylor Swift.
the thing of it was, he even admitted the whole intention behind why he got the job was so he wouldn't have to pay Taylor Swift tickets prices. So, like, he went there. I mean, that's kind of a stalker move. He went there to watch the show.
Is this something he has said?
Yes, that was what I read at the beginning. Is like that's what he did. Like, that was his intention. He's a huge Taylor Swift fan. Couldn't afford the ticket, so he got a job of security, which is why I think it's a good idea. Like, if you want to be near shows and you can't afford them, to security. If you want to interview bands, become a blogger. Like, there's ways there's behind the scenes things, or become a photographer and get photo passes to go shoot these acts and stuff for your blogs. There's things that you can do to kind of get in. He just got in and didn't just enjoy the fact that he got in, and he took his first day on the or second day on the job. He took it and he
Right.
got his opportunity. So for all of those reasons, absolutely Dunzo.
So you're saying he should have been a little more or less eager beaver.
Well, the thing that
He should have waited for his moment.
Uh, it should have just naturally occurred. He tried to orchestrate something, and he did. It was orchestrated. Whether it was from one of the people that he wanted it to, it could have been, or if it was the person to their left, it was still done. Now, the only thing that I could see kind of on his side is the fact that they let him come back to work another show because he was like, I guess he was like, oh, I got this job. He wasn't sure if he was going to fire. He was just kind of put on leave. They had him come back to work a show. I don't remember what show it was, but he worked the show, and then they let him work his shift, and then the HR came and told him that he was fired. So,
Mhm.
like, yeah, no, you can't stay. So in that respect, I mean, they must have been shorthanded for the night and took advantage of the fact that they had somebody, still got that work out of them, and then fired them. That I don't agree with.
This story serves as a reminder of the delicate balance between personal passions and workplace rules, all of which are under the scrutiny of social media.